Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something beautiful, seemingly simple. Flowers. We see them everywhere, right? Symbols of beauty, gifts.
Absolutely. But there's so much more than just pretty faces.
Exactly. What if I told you they can glow in the dark, like really glow? Or that they communicate, that you can eat them for serious health benefits. And even that, scientists are, well, tinkering with their very nature.
That's precisely what we're digging into today. We've gathered insights from places like the American Chemical Society, biotech research, botanical studies. It's a fascinating mix. Our goal is to really unpack the hidden science, the surprising capabilities packed into every bloom.
So our mission for this deep dive, we're journeying beyond the vase, beyond the garden bed, to uncover the secrets of flowers, from glowing wonders to silent signals, their role on our plates, and yeah, even their future in biotech labs. Get ready to see flowers in a whole new light.
Definitely.
Okay, let's kick things off with something that sounds almost like a magic trick, making flowers glow. You can actually try this at home.
Oh yeah, how's that?
Well, the American Chemical Society showed this cool demo. You basically just add some highlighter ink, the fluorescent stuff, to the water in a vase.
Right.
Let the flower sit in it for about a day, put it under a black light, and boom, the petals glow. It's pretty neat. But what's the actual science there?
That's fluorescence. It's a really interesting process. Essentially, the highlighter ink absorbs the invisible UV light from the black light, and then it re-emits that energy as visible light at a slightly different wavelength. So it's not making light, it's transforming it.
Transforming it, makes sense.
Yeah.
Tom Cooch, who advised on that ACS video, put it nicely. Fluorescence is generally just an absorption and then a re-emission at a different wavelength. The pyranine in yellow highlighters is particularly good at this.
And this isn't exactly a new discovery, is it? I read somewhere it was first noticed centuries ago.
That's right. Way back in the 1560s, people noticed a strange glow from the bark of certain trees when infused in water. That was fluorescence too.
And today it's used everywhere. In biology labs, scientists use fluorescent dyes to literally light up parts of cells, see things they couldn't otherwise.
Right, like tagging proteins or something.
Exactly. And forensic science uses it too. Certain bodily fluids fluoresce naturally under specific lights, which can be crucial at crime scenes.
Okay, so that's a chemical glow relying on something added, like highlighter ink. But what about plants that glow on their own? I heard about this firefly petunia.
Yes. That takes us from fluorescence to bioluminescence, a whole different ballgame.
Okay, explain.
Bioluminescence is when a living thing produces its own light through a chemical reaction inside its cells. Think fireflies, some jellyfish, deep-sea creatures, and certain fungi.
Fungi.
Yep. And that's the key to the firefly petunia. It's engineered by a company called Light Bio, and it glows continuously because it has genes borrowed from bioluminescent mushrooms.
Borrowed from mushrooms. That's wild. And people are actually buying these.
They are. Tens of thousands shipped across the U.S. just this past April. It's not a super bright glow, more of an ethereal one, but it's constant. No charging needed. Unlike phosphorescence, glow-in-the-dark stars.
Right. So what's the core reaction for this living light?
You need two main things, a fuel molecule called luciferin and an enzyme catalyst called luciferase. Add oxygen and you get light. It's a fundamental reaction that nature has actually stumbled upon independently over 90 times.
90 times. That's incredible. Why? What's the point for the organism?
Well, it varies hugely. Fireflies, as you probably know, use flashes for mating signals.
Right.
Some deep-sea fish use a glowing lure to attract prey in the pitch black. And others, like the vampire squid, actually shoot out glowing mucus to distract predators while they escape.
A glowing smokescreen.
Sort of, yeah. So it's for mating, hunting, defense, a whole toolkit.
Okay, back to the mushrooms and petunias. How did scientists figure out how to take that fungal glow and put it into a plant? That sounds complicated.
Oh, it was a long journey. People noticed glowing fungi centuries ago. Even Aristotle mentioned it. But the science really kicked off in the 1880s with Raphael Dubois studying quick beetles. He figured out the basic luciferin luciferase concept.
Okay.
Fast forward over a century, you have researchers like Cassie Stavani in Brazil and Ilya Yampolsky in Russia working intensely on fungal bioluminescence. They discovered something crucial.
What was that?
The fungal pathway uses caffeic acid as a starting material to make its luciferin. And guess what? Caffeic acid is super common in virtually all plants.
No way. So plants already had one of the key ingredients.
Exactly. It was this realization, this shared biochemical language that opened the door. The fungal system is quite elegant, a tidy loop where caffeic acid is converted into the light emitter and then recycled back.
A loop, okay.
So a team led by synthetic biologist Karen Sarkeesian figured out which fungal genes were needed for this loop and successfully transferred them from the Neonothepanus nambi fungus into a tobacco plant.
And it worked.
It worked beautifully. The tobacco plant's shoots, flowers, even roots started to glow. And that same basic technique has now been applied to petunias, chrysanthemums, roses, poplars.
Which brings us back to the firefly petunia.
Yep.
The USDA approved it for sale last year. But a glowing plant, are there any environmental worries? Could it mess with ecosystems?
That's a valid question, and it was definitely looked at. The assessment is that the ecological risk is very low.
Why is that?
Several reasons. First, the glow is pretty dim, unlikely to significantly affect pollinators or nighttime ecological processes. Second, there aren't any wild native petunias in the U.S. where it's sold, so no risk of crossbreeding with wild relatives.
Okay.
Plus, the garden petunias we already have are complex hybrids anyway, bred for decorations. They haven't shown any tendency to become invasive weeds. An expert, Elsa Youngstead, basically said she's not immediately alarmed by it.
Okay, that's reassuring. So from glowing flowers, let's shift to another hidden power. Their colors. We know they're beautiful, but those pigments do more than just look good, right?
Absolutely. Let's talk about anthocyanins. These are the water-soluble pigments responsible for most of the blues, purples, pinks, and reds you see in flowers.
Anthocyanins. Got it.
And what's really cool about them is they're sensitive to pH, acidity and alkalinity.
Like litmus paper.
Kind of. They tend to turn reddish in acidic conditions and more blue or even greenish in basic conditions. You can see this if you boil red cabbage. The juice changes color depending on what you add.
Huh. Interesting. So how do flowers use this?
Well, sometimes they use color change quite deliberately to communicate with pollinators.
Communicate? How?
Think about it. Flowers use color and scent to attract bees or butterflies, right? But once a flower is pollinated, it's done its job. It doesn't need to waste resources attracting more visitors, and the pollinator doesn't want to waste time visiting an empty flower.
Right, makes sense.
So some flowers change color after pollination or just as they get older. It's like putting up a closed sign. Lantana camara starts yellow or white, then turns magenta. Lupinus flowers get a purple spot instead of yellow when they're past their prime.
So the pollinators learn to go for the yellow.
Exactly. It makes pollination much more efficient for everyone. This kind of signaling happens in about 1/5 of all insect-pollinated plant families.
Wow, and the classic example of color change is the hydrangea, isn't it? Blue flowers in some soils, pink in others.
That's the famous one, yes. But it's a bit more nuanced than just soil pH changing the pigment directly.
Yeah.
It's actually about the availability of aluminum ions in the soil. In acidic soil, aluminum is soluble, mobile. The hydrangea roots actively absorb it. They even secrete citric acid to help dissolve it.
Okay.
Once inside the plant, the aluminum ions travel to the petals and interact with a specific anthocyanin pigment, delphinidin 3 glucoside, complexing with it to produce that vibrant blue color.
So acidic soil makes aluminum available, aluminum makes the flower blue.
Precisely. In neutral or alkaline soil, the aluminum gets locked up in insoluble compounds. The plant can't absorb it, and without aluminum, that same pigment stays pink or reddish.
So gardeners adding aluminum sulfate for blue flowers are basically force-feeding the plant aluminum.
That's exactly what they're doing. Or adding lime to make the soil more alkaline, lock up the aluminum, and get pink flowers. It can take a season or two to see the full effect, though.
Fascinating. So beyond signaling and soil chemistry, what else do these anthocyanin pigments do for the plant itself? Are they just for show?
Oh, not at all. They play really crucial roles, especially in protecting the plant from stress.
Like what kind of stress?
Think of them as internal sunscreen. They absorb excess light, particularly damaging UV radiation, protecting the sensitive photosynthetic machinery and DNA in the leaves.
Sunscreen, huh?
Yeah. Studies have shown leaves with anthocyanins suffer significantly less DNA damage under high UV. They also help protect against chilling, freezing temperatures, and even heavy metal toxicity, like that aluminum in hydrangeas. It helps the plant tolerate it.
So when I see plants turning reddish in harsh conditions, like sedums in hot sun,
That's often anthocyanins kicking in. It's a stress response, helping the plant cope with drought, intense light, maybe temperature swings. They're also really good antioxidants, scavenging harmful free radicals, so they're a big investment for the plant, but clearly worth it for survival.
Okay, let's switch gears completely. From plant survival to our plates. Edible flowers. This feels like a modern foodie thing, but you're saying it's not?
Not at all. Edible flowers have been used for centuries in cuisines all over the world, European, Asian, Middle Eastern traditions. Even the Victorians in England were quite fond of using them.
Really? How are they used?
All sorts of ways. Infused in drinks, tossed in salads, added to soups or stir-fries, sometimes even stuffed and baked, like zucchini flowers.
Right, I've had those.
And beyond just flavor or garnish, they're used as natural food colorings. Think hibiscus for red or pink teas, or the butterfly pea flower, Clitoria ternati, for amazing blues and purples.
Yes.
Some flowers like hibiscus or malva are also mucilaginous, meaning they contain slimy substances, mucilage, that can act as natural thickeners in sauces or desserts. Adds texture as well as color.
And people are generally open to eating flowers.
It seems so. One study found nearly 90% of people who tried them had a positive reaction. I think once you get past the initial novelty, the flavors and colors are quite appealing.
So beyond taste and color, are there actual health benefits? Or is it just pretty food?
No, there are definitely benefits. Many edible flowers are surprisingly high in dietary fiber calendula, for example, and they're packed with bioactive compounds, including those anthocyanins we just talked about, plus things like gallic acid, caffeic acid, quercetin.
Okay, so antioxidants and such.
Exactly. Powerful antioxidant activity is a big one. That means potentially boosting immune function, reducing inflammation, lowering the risk of chronic diseases. There's also evidence for anti-diabetic effects, anti-obesity properties, cardioprotection, even anti-cancer activity in some studies.
Wow, quite a list.
And antibacterial properties too. Flowers like borage, calendula, rose, dandelion, nasturtium. They've shown activity against various harmful bacteria and fungi in lab tests. Some less studied potential benefits include antidiarrheal, antidepressant effects, and even improving gut microbiota.
Okay, that's impressive. But this makes me think about safety. You can't just go munching on any flower in the garden, right? Some are poisonous.
Absolutely critical point. Safety is paramount. Rule number 1, identification. Know exactly what flower you're eating. Many are poisonous. The common garden pea flower is edible. The very similar looking sweet pea flower is toxic. Never guess.
Okay, identification first. What else?
Sourcing. Where did the flower come from? You must avoid flowers sprayed with pesticides not approved for food crops. Avoid flowers grown near roadsides due to pollution or fertilized with fresh manure. If you buy from a florist, they must be explicitly labeled edible. Don't eat decorative florist flowers.
No munching on the bouquet.
Definitely not. Third, allergies. If you have hay fever, asthma, or other plant allergies, be very cautious. Introduce only one new type of flower at a time in small amounts because of pollen sensitivity.
Good tip.
Fourth, preparation. Generally, you only eat the petals. Remove the stems, pistils, stamens, and often the bitter white base of the petal, especially on things like chrysanthemums, marigolds, or roses.
Okay, just the petals usually.
Fifth, potential drug interactions. It's not common, but some interactions have been documented, like hibiscus tea potentially affecting how the body processes acetaminophen. Always check if you're on medication.
Sure.
And finally, microbial contamination. Like any fresh produce, flowers can carry bacteria or fungi. Studies have found things like E. coli, salmonella, and other pathogens on edible flowers, sometimes linked to contaminated water or handling. Even organic flowers can have microbes.
So washing them is important.
Washing is important, but good hygiene during growing and harvesting is crucial. And consumers need reliable information on safe sourcing and handling. It's about being informed and cautious.
That's a really important checklist. So assuming you've got safe, identified flowers, what are some easy ways to use them?
Oh, lots of fun ways. Simple garnishes on salads or desserts are obvious. Freezing petals in ice cubes looks amazing in drinks. You can make floral jellies or syrups, infuse them for teas, or dry them carefully for later use in spice blends or baking.
Freezing them in ice cubes. I like that idea. Seems low risk.
That's a great place to start.
Okay, so we've seen natural wonders. Now let's look at how science is actively shaping flowers. Biotechnology in ornamentals. What does that involve?
It's a range of techniques used to improve or modify ornamental plants. One big area is micropropagation.
Which is like cloning.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Making lots of identical copies of a superior plant quickly in the lab, much faster than traditional cuttings for some species. Then there's haploid and polyploid breeding.
Okay, what do those do?
Haploid breeding can speed things up and help create dwarf varieties. Polyploid breeding, inducing extra sets of chromosomes, often results in larger flowers, thicker petals, more robust plants.
Bigger and faster.
Kind of, yeah. And then there's genetic modification, or GM. This allows scientists to introduce specific genes, sometimes from totally different organisms, to achieve traits that are difficult or impossible through traditional breeding.
Like what kind of traits?
All sorts. Modifying flower color is a big one. Think trying to create a true blue rose. Changing fragrance, altering flower shape or plant architecture, controlling flowering time, extending vase life significantly.
Longer lasting bouquets, I can see the appeal there.
Definitely. Carnations were an early success there. Also, building in resistance to pests, diseases, or environmental stresses like frost.
Are there actual GM flowers out there on the market that people can buy, besides the glowing petunia?
Yes, there are. The most established example is probably the Carnation Moon series. These came out in the late 90s, featuring various shades of purple and mauve, colors created through genetic modification. They're sold in many countries.
Purple carnations, okay.
Then there's the Applause rose, marketed as a blue rose, though many describe the color as more lavender or mauve. It was a huge challenge technically, involving genes from pansies, and was released in Japan and North America over a decade ago.
The elusive blue rose. Sort of.
Sort of, yeah. True blue is very difficult in roses. Chrysanthemums are another major target for GM research, aiming for blue colors, insect resistance, different shapes, but no GM varieties are commercially available just yet. And as I mentioned, petunias with altered colors are available, and research is ongoing for things like frost tolerance.
So the technology's there, it's being used. What's the outlook? Will we see more of this?
Progress is maybe a bit slower than with GM food crops. Ornamental plants often have longer life cycles and more complex genetics, which makes the process take time. But yes, new GM products are definitely expected.
And beyond just prettier or longer-lasting flowers.
There's exciting potential for using these engineered plants as biofactories, modifying them not just for looks, but to produce valuable compounds, perhaps pharmaceuticals, specific oils, or other secondary metabolites. The flower becomes a beautiful production platform.
Wow, flowers making medicine. That's quite a future.
It's certainly being explored.
Well, this has been an incredible journey. We've gone from realizing you can make a flower glow with a highlighter, to understanding how they use color to talk to bees, to the serious health potential of eating them safely, and now to the future of biotech-enhanced blooms. It really makes you appreciate how much is going on inside even a simple flower.
It truly does. They are far more complex and dynamic than we often give them credit for.
So, what's a final thought for our listeners to take away from all this?
Maybe think about this. As we learn more about the intricate chemistry and biology packed into flowers, how might that change not just our appreciation, but our application? We're unlocking secrets that could lead to more sustainable food sources, new medicines, novel materials. Flowers hold so many possibilities. What other everyday things around us have these kinds of hidden depths just waiting for us to explore?
That's a great question to ponder. Thank you so much for sharing all this insight today, and thank you all for joining us on this deep dive. Hopefully the next time you see a flower, you'll see a little bit of that hidden magic too.